Imagine never having to be late to work again. That sounds like a pretty good idea. So you're gonna ask yourself, how are we gonna do that? Well, my name is Jesse Walker, and what we're gonna talk about are what we like to call power adders, and those are added to your vehicle to increase horsepower. Which who doesn't like, add a little bit more horsepower to your car, have a little bit more fun every day. And the thing that we're going to talk about is I personally use all three of these, and there's going to be nitrous oxide, superchargers, and turbochargers. So the first one we're going to talk about is what we call nitrous oxide. And according to Richard Holdener, who is an editor for a very large hot rod magazine called Hot Rod Magazine, he's built numerous engines and he's very well known and respected in the car community. He states that nitrous oxide is a chemical power adder, and what it does, that means is it starts out as a liquid in a bottle usually, and that runs through a line and it goes into your engine, and that turns into a gas. So whenever those molecules break down, it adds more air into your engine so that you can add more fuel, thus giving you more horsepower. So nitrous is very cheap and very easy to install. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, getting a cheap and effective way to add horsepower into your engine. The second one we're going to talk about is what we like to call superchargers. And they're a little bit different from nitrous in the sense that it's a mechanical unit. It does it not through the chemical process like nitrous did. So those are usually bolted directly to the engine, and those are ran by belts or sometimes gears, and they turn rotors. And the same thing that the nitrous did is the whole goal is to add more air into the engine. And the way that does that, it usually turns rotors, forces more air into the engine, and you have more air, so you can add in more fuel. And when you add more fuel, we get what everybody likes, more horsepower. The third one that we're going to talk about are what we call turbochargers, and they're very similar to the superchargers, but as Larry Webster of Popular Mechanics in his article explaining the difference between superchargers and turbochargers, turbochargers usually have a little bit more of a delay when you press the throttle to get your power. And the reason for that is because the turbochargers are actually attached to your car's exhaust and not ran by belts or pulleys. So what that means is they kind of act the same, their power delivery is a little bit different. The same concept, we're adding more air, we're compressing more air, we're sending it into your engine, and then again adding more fuel, which gives more horsepower. It's the hardest of the three to install just because there's a lot more components to make it work. But usually, they hold up longer than the rest of them for the long term. So in conclusion, what we've talked about are the three different type of power adders. The nitrous oxide, we've talked about superchargers, and we've talked about turbochargers. So it's up to you what you think would be best for you. Maybe you were interested in installing one of those, especially if you never want to be late to work again, or you want to stop for coffee every single morning. You're not going to have to worry about it because you're going to have all that horsepower that you're never going to have to be late.